right? All right, stop. Dance here. Listen, welcome. I want to welcome everybody so much. This is going to be such an amazing show. This is Civil Unrest Part 2. Yes. So first of all, before we begin, I want to welcome everybody on Zoom. Welcome our Zoom family. So glad that you're able to be here with us. I know that you want to be here, but listen, you are in for an amazing show. We're going to have a great time. All right, so let me introduce myself. I am your phenomenal host. My name is Realize Me, and I have a job to do, okay? So before we start, I want everybody, we got to do some housekeeping real quick, okay? So I want to ask that you keep your talking, okay, to a minimum while the performers are on the stage, all right? We don't want a whole bunch of loud talking. You know how y'all are, y'all over there. Yeah, I know you're loud, all right? Also, make sure we will have a bathroom break so that people aren't getting up and walking around while the performers are on the stage. So don't worry, you're gonna have a minute. My last one, so I have been given something from Kraal Charles Media, all right? I have $100. All right, we're gonna play this game. Everybody pull out your cell phones. Take out your cell phones. We giving away $100. Kayo, 100, right?
Yeah.
All right. $100. Pull out your cell phones. Let me see them. Let me see your cell phones. Let me see them up. All right. I'm going to say vibrate. I want everybody to put their phone on vibrate. And when I say vibrate, put your phone on vibrate. The first person that yells out vibrate, they gonna get this $100.
Vibrate.
I haven't said it yet. All right, put your phones ready. On your marks, get set. Vibrate. Who was it? I think it was Mary. Okay, you ain't gonna get it. Give it to Midnight back there. Give it to Midnight. Cause you working. Everybody clap it up for Midnight. Midnight, open it up. Let's see if we lying.
Oh shoot.
Hold on. Let's see if we lying.
Thank you.
Yay. What? It's $100. So what? It came from the Monopoly Bank. It's still $100, and you can use that, okay? You can buy property with that. But thank you, everybody, for putting your phones on vibrate. I really appreciate it. Clap that up for the game. Clap that up for Midnight. All right, so my job here, thank you, everybody. Thank you for cooperating. Midnight, thanks for being a good sport. My job here is to make sure that everybody is comfortable. Everybody's having a good time, that you all are laughing, that you're comfortable. Marion will take your drink and beverage order at the bar there. Make sure you're all good, all right? My also job is to make sure that the show moves along, to keep the time, make sure we go on time, we're good on time. But also, you all are my job, right? So what that means is that every time a performer comes on the stage, I need energy, because we want energy. We want a good show, yes?
Yeah.
All right? So, you gotta give energy, okay? You know how to do that. I've already seen it, but I just want to check you. I'm gonna give y'all a little quiz a little later on, okay? All right, y'all good?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I just want to take a moment to introduce Civil Unrest. This is an amazing show. This is my story of civil unrest, and how it began. Civil unrest began with a little girl and her father. This country was a mess. It was torn apart. People were angry. They were feeling like there was no justice. And they were protesting. They were rioting in the street. And this 13-year-old little girl went to her father and said, "Daddy, I want to go and protest." Now, this is a revolutionary. He threw himself on the line of justice every single day. But he wasn't willing to throw his daughter there that day. And he said, "Baby, no, you can't go." And she said, "Well, what am I supposed to do?" And this is where civil unrest was born. Civil unrest was created to give those that want to do something a way to do something when there's so much to be done. For those that want to say so much when there's so much to be said, but they can't. So civil unrest gives us a way to speak out, to be heard, and to be seen, especially in these times of civil unrest. So that's what this show is about. Thank you very much for that. All right. Okay, so I want to take a special moment to thank the most important people in the room. Oh yes, me. No, we definitely want to thank our sponsors. Yes, thank you to our sponsors. We want to have a thank you to Marcus Garvey Alliance, a thank you to Crumb Charles Media, a special thanks to the New Yorkers Poets Cafe, and a special thank you to the Lower Manhattan Cultural Council. Thank you so much. Without you, none of this would ever happen. All right. So I think I'm good for a minute. We're going to take a 5-minute break. That's your bathroom break. Go use the bathroom. It's right over there. All right. People on Zoom, don't you leave me. You go use the bathroom and you come right back here, okay? Because I'm going to be here and there's going to be performers here. Welcome. Come on in the room. And we're going to be right back in 5 minutes. Give me a little more Slum Village. Give me a little more. Give me a little more. Hey. Thank you, guys. Yeah. All right, welcome back. Right. Okay, so listen, remember I said there was going to be a test, okay? Want to feel your energy. Make sure you know what to do when I introduce somebody to the stage. Right, is everybody ready? Okay, so I'm going to introduce this first poet to the stage. This poet comes in here from Philadelphia. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. Hey now, Philly. All right, I see you. This poet has performed nationally and internationally. She was represented in Belize, represented at the St. Lucia Jazz Festival. All right, I want you all to put your hands together. Put your hands together. Put your hands together. I think you're ready. That was good. That was good. I think I'm ready to introduce some people to you. First of all, I want to definitely thank again all of our sponsors. I want to thank you all for being here for this amazing show. First person I want to introduce is a special ambassador of Generation Verb. Please, please, please put your hands together. A very, very special thank you to Mr. Paul McIntosh.
We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts we smile and mouth with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them see us while we wear the mask. We sing, but oh, the clay is vile beneath our feet and long the mile. But let the world dream otherwise. We wear the mask. Paul Arts Dunbar. We must die. Let it not be like hogs, hunted and pinned in some inglorious spot, while round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock at our accursed lot. If we must die, oh, let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain. Then even the monsters we defy shall be constrained to honor us, though dead. O kingsmen, we must meet the common foe. Though far outnumbered, let us show us brave, and for their 1,000 blows deal one death blow. What though before us lies the open grave? Like men will face the murderous, cowardly pack, pressed to the wall, dying, but fighting back. February the 7th, 1926, Carter G. Woodson began what was then called Negro History Week. Today we celebrate what began as Negro History Week as Black History Month. And in some sense, that truly was civil unrest. As noted by our struggle, our sacrifice, our sit-downs and sit-ins, our freedom rides, our boycotts, our reverence, in deed and spoken word. Yesterday was the birthday of Abiodun Oyewole, one of the grandfathers of spoken word and hip-hop. Permit me to honor Kayo and Generation Verb and Gabriel Gutierrez and Alhadaaee as they continue the tradition of civil unrest with the words of the last poets of how you doing, oh you waiting? Because, just because you're black. Because, just because you're black. You say you don't want to die because. I don't want to die because. You say you don't want to die because there's no cause to die for. Now what would cause you to say that? Is it because you have a good job and a home in the suburbs? Or is it because you wear pink and yellows, causing all the sisters to scream from a cause unknown? Malcolm, Martin, Denmark all died because they knew what was the cause, causing all of us to be exploited and oppressed. I hope you get a cause to die for soon, because you're gonna die anyway, just because you're black. Colored folks and Negroes, listen to this. It's glorious to die for a cause, but not because. Generation Verb, carrying on that legacy, in homage to the last poets, in homage to Dudley Randall, in homage to all those brothers and sisters who fought and struggled and died so that we could be here. That sister who, when you were 13 years old, or that protest when you were 13 years old, and your father decided that he was going to do what needed to be done. The legacy, it speaks to us. Generation Verb, Generation Verb, Generation Verb. Give thanks.
Well, I am humbled. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Thank you. Again, please put your hands together and make it I was supposed to introduce Generation Verb. I don't think I need to. I think that we're good. You all feel good? We ready to get the show going? Ready? All right. So the very first student that I'm going to introduce, she is a former student of Generation Verb. She is a graduate of Frederick Douglass Academy too. Please put your hands together for Ms. Mona Alhadaaee.
They tell me it's time for healing and expects me to keep concealing. They say you've got one jacket and one meal. Why did your clan raiders kneel? Pain and injustice are nothing but you are being hopeless. They say you are unworthy and have nothing to do with beauty. So you treat your kids brutally. Give me, all of you, your face, your body, your talent, your power. It's nothing professional, desirable, or even recognizable. So you see yourself less, and you start to suppress. So your kids see you as a mess. They tell me it's time for healing, healing, healing. The game keeps running while you keep bleeding. The game keeps running while you keep screaming. The game keeps running while you keep depleting. The game keeps running while you keep numbing. Why beg when your blood is mud to them? Why scream when your voice is considered low for them? Why cry when your tears are nothing but sorrow and dreams going to the shadow? What do they tell you about your father and grandfather in school? Do they tell you that they are unworthy and murky? Do you nod and say, let it be, or do you stand up for the legacy?
Yeah.
Never stop dreaming, never stop screaming, and never be demeaning. Stand up for the enslaved.
Yes.
Stand up for the one who has never been saved.
Yes.
Make sure your children know the ocean wave.
Yes.
Do it. Do it for the father that had to change his children's first and last name. Do it for the women who had to straighten their hair, bleach it, and cut it. Do it for the child that hated their skin color and threw out their mother's food.
Yeah.
Do it for people who had to throw out their tongue and shut the beat of their hearts.
Wow.
Do it for everyone who veiled themselves to survive. Like the blood going smoothly through your veins. Like the moon flowing over trees. Like a mind misplaced in space. Like your tears flowing over seas. Stand up and embrace.
Come on! Listen, she got up here, and I was like, uh-oh, I'm gonna have to support her. I'm gonna have to support her through the poem, and killed it! Put your hands together again for Miss Mona Alhadaaee. That was awesome. I'm ready. I'm hyped. Y'all see I'm hyped. Y'all hyped? Y'all excited? You gotta be excited. I'm getting ready to pull up the next, oh my gosh, Generation Verb student. He is a graduate of Wadley High School. Please put your hands together for Gabriel Gutierrez.
I've seen better days. Uncle Sam was smoking his haze while beating another slave. God don't bless America. God don't bless America. See, because this is America, don't catch you slipping up. See, because this is America, and look what I'm whipping up. My rhythm flow and words kicking for you narcissists who only care about yourselves. Y'all think you're so goddamn perfect in this world, don't you, right? It's funny because I used to believe in perfect. They say that I'm running out of things to talk about. They say that I'm running out of bars, but your prisons is running out of cells that Michael Jordan invested from his sneaker cells. See, I bet you ain't know that. Black on black crime. You sure you want to be like Mike? And I grip the mic and let my soul preach false allegations and propaganda. See, they tell us to have our hands up. But yet they still shoot us. Now, I wonder if there really is a world where it's all different. Real talk, I wonder about the alternate realities. But what if this world that we live in is the alternate reality? Where in that reality, the bad is good and the good is bad. The rich were poor and the poor were rich. Where whites were slaves and blacks and Hispanics ruled the country with an iron fist. And the KKK was the Black Panther movement. The civil rights movement never existed. And white folk dealing with crack issues. Now, sometimes between you and me, man, I wish that was true. Because I'll crash and burn into a suburban neighborhood and flood the streets with crack cocaine if I had to. God damn it, I minded my business for too long. And this is what happens when you've been immortalized for way too long. And I'm too scared to stand up for what's right and become this perfect icon. Because we all know what happened to the legend icons. Shot Martin, shot Malcolm, killed Gandhi, crucified Jesus. On the other hand, I killed Reagan, Bush didn't do 9/11, Trump was causing separation, you were the sniper, and I was the bullet that shot President Kennedy. Bombs exploding, missiles flowing, planes crashing, the military are shooting, gas chambers from a gas... Bombs exploding, missiles flowing, planes crashing, military shooting, gas from a gas chamber exploded. The Jews are still running from a neo-Nazi territory while Jesus in the back floating. Look at you now, look at this recreation. See, I come up from the trenches, and don't call me dirty because I'm from the Bronx. See, I run my section, but I'm gonna call you dirty because of your infection. See, my DNA is not for imitation, but your DNA is for innovation. I'm my own hurricane, I'm gonna flood this damn nation. You try to walk on water, but you drown with a walkie-talkie, screaming for help, but all I hear is miscommunication. You're shameless, you're a tyrant in the making. Drug dealers dealing with white folks smoking pot around the bodegas, and keep gambling with your life, because when them chips go down, that's when I take shots like Vegas. See, I feel like eating Asian food, but like kamikaze down on the presidential suite and watch as a ISIS member cuts my head off and leave my body frozen like that girl that was trapped in the freezer. Who's next? Let me take this, because I cut through your bloodstreams into your blood tissues, have you leaking like Hannah Baker. It's gonna be 13 reasons why the government's gonna have me on suicide watch for exploiting the secrets to the public eye.
Then I'm a little slow coming back to the stage. Alright. Or that I'm a little slow coming back to the stage. Please. Let me tell you, when I was in high school, and I could put a couple rhyming words together, you know, people thought it was impressive. But I'm telling you, that was phenomenal. Gabriel Gutierrez. Put your hands together again for Mona Alhadaaee. Put your hands together again for Mr. McIntosh. The Generation Verb. All right, so we are going to take another intermission. I promise y'all bathroom breaks in. Now see, I'm a host of my word. So we're going to take another quick 5 minutes. Definitely, Miriam, you got everybody's drink order. You ready? I'm doing my job here. If y'all need something, Miriam got you, all right? Everybody on Zoom, do not go far. We will be back in 5 minutes. Thank you. That'd be great. Yeah. Okay. What makes me happy when this is like. Let me know when you're ready, Midnight. Let me know when 5 minutes is left. Okay, so wait, then look at I see you pull it up. This is real life. Hey now. Hey now. All right, that's fine. None of y'all ever have any pant pulling up experiences. Good for you. All right, grow up, and then you'll learn the importance of pulling up your pants. All right, we ready? All right, put your hands together again. Welcome back. Is everybody? Oh, y'all here? I was looking for you. I didn't know where you all went. I was like, where they at? Oh my gosh. Welcome back. We are ready to get this show, continue to keep the show going. This microphone is already on fire. We have just had 3 amazing performances, so I'm so excited to introduce Kraal, Kayo, Charles. And let me tell you, here we go. All right, here we go. Well, first, before I introduce Kayo, I do want to introduce 2 amazing performers. You have been hearing from Brother Akil Dasan. Akil Dasan, he is on the guitar. He is the ambassador of Generation Verb. He was also one of the first members of the Male Ego. Now, some of y'all may not know, but you will indeed find out soon what the Male Ego is. But please put your hands together for Brother Akil. Also, you will see this sister in just a little while. She's a phenomenal cellist, amazing heart, amazing soul. I can't wait to see what she does. She is a member of the Fiery String Sisters. Yes. She's going to be doing a free event in Greenwich, Connecticut on the 12th. So if you happen to be in Greenwich, you know you ain't doing nothing, go on to Greenwich on the 12th. Go to the free library because they've got a show going on, so we want to support. So these are 2 phenomenal artists. That's want to make sure that we highlight them. Yes? Yes. All right. So I'm going to introduce Kraal, Kayo, Charles. Brooklyn born performer. Producer, playwright. He's traveled the world and featured on TV, radio, and film. He began his career in New York City's Poetry Slam, becoming the first Grand Slam champion right here in the New York Poetry Cafe. He was the first poet to ever present in front of thousands at the Harlem Book Fair. He's presented to millions at the New Year's Eve ball drop. Bring yourself up the stage. Kraal, Kayo, Charles, bring yourself to the stage. Everybody put your hands together. Okay, yo!
How's everybody doing? So, civil unrest. I'm going to do about 5 poems, and they're going to deal with war, liberty, war and liberty, identity. And the first poem I'm going to do is called I Can Move Mountains, and it's about literally trying to move obstacles out of your way. And I can move mountains. Can you tell me how to move a mountain? Can you tell me how to move a mountain? I can show you how to move a mountain. 'Cause I can move mountains. I said I can move mountains. Seeds were implanted in me down under the soil of inhumanity. Still centered in a mind were other views. I've been amused by those fools who choose to try to control my only heritage has my soul. Academically designed to incline, defined as a problem, but it's all in the mind. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. The earth gave birth, now has rotted. Plans of a better nation we have plotted, but gluttons push the wrong buttons, causing explosions, mass erosion to the earth's surface. They have the nerve to get nervous. How dare you say that all men are created equal when poverty, welfare regulates my people. My people. My people, it's time to move mountains. We have nothing to lose. We just stand on the highest plane and yell, mountain move. But brothers hold grudges because the mountain never budgets. And idleness comes large and motivation is mentally discharged. The aggravation inside me lingers. Cause all my people know how to do is point fingers. Instead of blaming selves, we blame others. How can you point fingers amongst brothers? I hear swearing, I hear cursing, when the real blame is third person, but they say you. They say you, they say you, it can't be I, it must be you, it's you, why not we? Don't you see, why not us? We made it unjust. Can somebody tell me how to move a mountain? My people run deep like water flowing from an endless fountain. Don't you understand that we have nothing to lose? We just stand on the highest plane to yo-yo mountain move. But leaders don't show faces, afraid to take their places in the populace. How can you be so bold to give benefits to the old when I have been treated cold before and after I was 400 years old? And sexism does exist, but can I make a list of all my black sisters that had to raise their black fist? My people have been criticized, mutilated, brutalized. How can you speak of sexism and ageism when racism is institutionalized? My people, it's time to move mountains. Just nudge them out your path. All aims, objectives, and goals shall soon be in your grasp. Just follow me, I'll lead the way. Who am I, you might say? Who am I? Who am I? I push hills aside and tall landscapes I devour. I think critically, analytically, plus politically I have power. I can pull clouds out the sky. I can move mountains by the bulk. I swallowed Mount Fuji in one gulp. Beat Mount Kenya to a pulp. I grounded the Rockies till it tasted like syrup. Leaped over the Appalachians towards my travels into Europe. Mercy, mercy, even as we speak, you know they're crying mercy upon communism peak. Even when I sneeze, the cool breeze across seas can bring the Alps to my knees and still stop off in Vienna to taste of chocolate and cheese. There is no peace in Greece, for the gods are at a halt. I capsize Mount Olympus and wrestle Zeus for his lightning bolt. My people cried victory, but I have more in store. For I go back to the United States and chisel my face on Mount Rushmore. And as I leave South Dakota, I want all my people to follow. For I travel to the motherland to beat drums on Kilimanjaro. I passed by the pyramids, but I left them alone. They had no geometrical equation, plus it said black owned. My people cried victory, victory. I see no victory today, for Mount Everest still stands to be my finest prey. And so I climb Mr. Everest and I look him eye to eye and said, no longer would your head remain above the clouds in the sky. I came down and told my people Mount Everest must fall, one half in Tibet, the other half in Nepal. My people just laughed, another seemed uncertain. And again, in time of struggle and action, they questioned my person. I said, maybe they don't know who I am. Who am I and what I can do? Who am I and what I can do? Who am I and what I can do? I can gargle bodies of water by the landfills and cases, spit them into entered spaces to form an oasis. I can make the Leaning Tower of Pisa stand firm and tall, make the Statue of Liberty have a very bad fall. Yes, I am black and the black man's epitome. I can kick Sicily off the boot of Italy. All mountains shall shake from the power that I generate. People in other countries would swear it was an earthquake. So please, Mr. Everest, let me spare you today. I said mountain, move out of my way.
Yes.
I am that identifiable brother that can find his way home. I am that identifiable soul that can find his way home. I was afraid of the dark and scared to be alone. I couldn't enunciate my R's. I swum in monkey bars. I daydreamed of stars and owning property on Mars. I am a member of that group that created his own slang. Some say I do my thing, but I be doing my thing. Some call me top notch because I play skelly and hopscotch, and I just discovered manhood by holding my crotch. The first one to start a rumor that her penis had a tumor. I'm that #1 consumer to wear Adidas and suede Pumas. Check my sneakers, yo. I'm that one that stood in the corner drinking for the hell of it, teasing women because they're virgins, but since birth I've been celibate. I used to pop and do the wop since the invention of break dancing. Beautiful women I used to be romancing, and as I drunk my 40, I leaned to the side to look sporty, and everybody I knew was named Yo Shorty. Yo, shorty, wipe my sneakers, yo. You stepped on my sneakers. But from whom the bell tolls, lay no eyes upon my grave. God have mercy on my soul, let my spirit please be safe. At a glance I have advanced, evolving from the slave. But is this the road that my ancestors paved? One man calls me life, another man calls me breath. One man calls me height, another man calls me depth. You see, God made man and man made clone. Man called me God, but they say it means unknown, and you know me. I created whirlwinds that the women tear egos off their limbs. Still have time to bust a rhyme and sing Christian hymns. I ain't talking no Negro spirituals. That makes the cotton picker say, drop it. I put the soul into hums and beat drums on a bucket. I held conferences with the stars and gave them all assignments. I can push Pluto next to Mars and cause a new solar alignment.
Yeah.
I and justice coincide.
Yeah.
Through ancient times I survived. When Moses parted the Red Sea, I was on the other side, and you want to know who I am?
Yeah.
I gave Columbus a tour, for he didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
I taught the art of war to a man named Sun Tzu. The Romans tried to capture me, and I told them to bear arms. Then I perplexed them permanently by pushing pyramids out my palms. King Tut couldn't handle this, and
Yeah.
give something for the funnies. I wrapped pharaohs into bandages and had them crying for their mummies. Upon my arrival, they called me a disciple. I drunk from King James' cup and spat words from the Bible.
Yeah.
Since creation, I concoct equations for fun. All persuasion said, how amazing is that raisin in the sun? So to ask me who I am, you must believe in fiction. To imagine what can't be fathomed has to be your addiction. They pin me from arm to arm and plan my crucifixion. But I am the bearer of eternal life. They can't cause me no affliction. Traveling through time and space with grace beyond man's jurisdiction. With the letters A and KH on my throat as an inscription. So if anyone comes through that door and asks for my description, tell them I'm a dark-skinned black king that walks like an Egyptian. So what is war? The teacher asked me one day out of the blue. I woke up out of my daydream in the midst of World War II, talking about the evil that men knew in the eyes of our father, blurting words like Nagasaki, Hiroshima, and the bombing of Pearl Harbor. We never left it up to karma, she said to us boys and girls. But what do I really care about the realities of the world? You see, when it came to war, a younger me could care less. Plus, I was blessed with the eyesight of a net's developing chest, so by design, war wasn't clearly defined. I was in the chicks and movie flicks, plus I can kick a rhyme. My favorite rapper, an athlete, would stand out in my mind. I didn't care to fear war. Those weren't my times. So what is war? With this persistent question, I wanted to make tremendous strides. So I chose to research the word and find where the definition hides. It was there in the dictionary where my ignorance died. War was a struggle between two opposing sides. Two opposing sides. So vague was the definition that the dictionary endorses. It called war a type of struggle between two opposing forces. So there it was in black and white pinstripe, come one and come all. Due to this definition, I thought war was baseball. What? Must I be ashamed or embarrassed at my mentality? I took the word war in its definition and combined it with my reality. War must be baseball. Look at the competitive look on his face. And they have signs that say, bring our boys home. I thought they meant home base, for I knew nothing of bombs. I knew nothing of nations that threatened. All I knew was Don Mattingly was on first and Willie Randolph was on second and Dave Winfield's up to bat, so people don't be alarmed. He can stifle a pitcher's rifle if he has a firearm. And here is a statement that will support my last lines. Could you tell me that war is not an American pastime? But is this the same war where millions have cried, the same tragedies and catastrophes where millions have died? I had to grow up. I had to grow up. I had to grow up quick and learn what's false and what's real. For I ain't never seen no man die in no baseball field. I don't know if you all have noticed this, but we have grown accustomed accustomed to things that happens in our everyday lives. We strive to survive in this place full of monotony where the rich outclass the poor. We can't score with such monopoly. We have grown accustomed to crowded buses and crowded trains and the sight of homelessness in parks that no longer reigns. We have grown accustomed to cockroaches and rat-infested blocks, yellow tape and date raping, out-of-shape cops, unlicensed teachers, critical preachers that say we're all going to hell, invented sickness, Jehovah's Witness that keeps ringing my bell. We have grown accustomed to censored writings and a few Jeffrey Dahmers, UFO sightings and suicide bombers. We have grown accustomed to idiots leading the nation like fools, children killing other children in schools. The environment has gone wrong without people and slumber. Global warming we sing when the spring feels like summer. Economic woes, it grows into a plummet. Automatic crack addicts come out of swollen stomachs, and our hormones and our meats are making our children buxom. Am I hallucinating this shit? Or have we grown accustomed? Why is crime always on the rise and there isn't a solution? Why are we quick to build one jail more than learning institutions? Why is there always a gangster rapper that claims to put bodies in a hearse and have the nerve to be on the Grammys and thank God first? I've grown accustomed. And how much is it costing for the government's distortion? We vie for a piece of a pie which is not properly proportioned. We have grown accustomed to design hate, a high crime rate from our own people stabbing us, accustomed to being iced out, drinking crystal and being ghetto fabulous, accustomed to one-night sex, the projects, collecting welfare checks with ease, accustomed to toxic waste, the blackface, and the taste of government cheese. We have grown accustomed. How do we know? It's a question that reminds me to question everything. It's a poem that reminds me to question everything. You see, I formed a shield around my existence in the class of 8th grade. I felt like Charlie Brown as my teacher's voice began to fade, closing my eyes by no surprise to all those that intruded, because I was distant from the rest and always felt excluded, you see. I was different. I was different. While others talked their talk, I sang my song. I put semicolons, commas, and question marks where they didn't belong. While others claimed things to be fact, the majority accepted it to be so. I was the one to stand back and ask, how do we know? Must I be degraded for being a right-brain thinker? Oh, how the teacher hated that with theory I would tinker. You see, it started when he spoke about this man deriving from man and how they're all human, and with this man envy we can closely relate and understand. But I thought surely he must jest about the mothers of our nation. How do we know the word man constitutes a woman's deprivation? So I said, Professor, can I ask you a question? He said, go ahead and shoot. I said, if a grape is a fruit, then what the hell is a grapefruit? I said, if a grape is a fruit, then what the hell is a grapefruit? You see, one is much smaller and they don't have the same shape, but a grapefruit looks like an orange and most certainly cannot derive from the grape. So if a grape is a fruit, then what the hell is a Mr. Kayo? This is a 45-minute session. Do not interrupt me with such foolish questions. I heard the echoes of his words as my classmates laughed, shriveling my sense of dignity, leaving me feeling daft. But on my side was Einstein, Charles, George Washington Carver, Socrates, and Plato. And we all melted at once. If you didn't know the answer to my question, all you had to do was say so. And of course he felt disrespected, and he said, I beg your pardon. He called me ignorant, stubborn, and hardened, and put me in the corner like kindergarten. And after all that humiliation, I vowed never to do it again. But how could you mute something that came from within? So one day he spoke about the planets and the whole Mother Earth, and he continued by assuming we were alone in this great universe. I started to erupt out my seat because I know that he's been had. He said, Mr. Kayo, is there something that you can have? I said, how do we know there is no life on Mars? How do we know there is no life on Mars? Scientists claim this to be a fact, but these are the same people that told me the world was flat. And historians documented their recoveries, but these are the same people that told me of false discoveries. He showed me a picture in a book and professed my theory to be a flop, but teacher that was kerned and dropped on Cork Express and Photoshop, and a story was concocted for anyone that harasses, published in millions of books just to calm the masses. Don't get me wrong, I'm not headstrong, I'm not saying it isn't so, but due to deception and misconception of questions, how do we know? I mean, to say that we're alone, it can be a complete fallacy. How do we really know we are alone in this single galaxy? Teacher, the nerve of you, you speak as if you lived amongst the stars. How do we really know there is no life on Mars? You see, I travel the universe from the head of my bed and watch Charles Drew draw blood from the earth and made bars red. Since the birth of the earth, we were breaking down walls, but on Neptune, Alexander Graham Bell is making out of global calls. They said there was no life on Venus, but no one really knows this. The revolution turned a space shuttle sound of an underground with Harriet Tubman and Moses. And on Uranus, if you can, without blinking, man, look beyond, you'll see Rodin sitting like the thinking man. I saw many faces and many races beyond technology's wings. As I saw Flojo and Jesse Owens running around Saturn's rings, running to the rhythm of time. Oh, did I forget to mention, by design, Einstein defined time as a dimension. And I know there's life on Jupiter. I know my eyes do not fail. There I saw George Washington Carver with peanuts for sale. Shakespeare was writing sonnets and Beethoven had an epiphany. Played the bongo on their Congo and called it a symphony. And when I said there was 9 planets, they all looked at me and laughed. I said, I read that in my textbook. Count them. Do the math. Besides, this book cost me an arm and a leg at the top of the line. Check out this fine design, this spine defined, first published in 1969. Shakespeare said, I don't mean to offend my lord, but my lord, you must be ill. Can't you see this book is written with some technological quill? I said, what trickery is this? Must you blame me for some buffoon? I knew there were 9 planets since man landed on the moon. So if there are not 9 planets, tell me, how do you know? That's when they all pointed at the 10th planet. It was right behind Pluto. So don't tell me there's no life on Mars, and even worse, this universe. When I was a child, my mind ran wild and feed me information that is rehearsed. Yeah. Let me question the unquestionable. Yeah. Do not stifle what I say, because this is what's limiting our children today. Yeah. How do we know? Sanity. Many moons have gone by. Many moons have gone by since the last time we've met. Spoons of cries I analyze, chastise my eyes with regret. You are my queen of the palace, my weekend in Paris. I've done you wrong for so long, and still you hold no malice. You are my sanity. And I traded you away for no more than 2 coins, because the urge in my loins laid where all misery joins. The vision wasn't clear to me. So blurry was longevity. I fondled with emotions and I fought my own fidel integrity. Yes, I questioned my fidelity, but her words were smooth in motion. I saw those hips, and the parting of her lips told me nothing about devotion. I searched for explanations and found not one that can fit. Butterflies held summits in my stomach, working down to my bit. I told her I loved her, but I know she feels deceived. What words can I utter to make you to believe? You are my sanity, my inner eye, my deeper light, my clear blue sky, my natural eye, the reason why I sleep at night. How can I say it in one sentence to forgive my past tenses? I lost all my senses and now I face the consequences. My love, I never planned it. I didn't mean to be so candid. I feel I should die. I cried to be reprimanded. I tried to run from the pain, but couldn't hide from my guilt. I covered myself in shame, but found no comfort in that quilt. How weakened is your tolerance and your patience walks on stilts. Or your heart can no longer race or flip off this relationship that we've built. I've broken our sacred creed. Avariciously I found the need. Now what words can I say to you to erase this evil deed? You are my sanity and my love for what it's worth. You are my place has been, my space within, my favorite sin, my down to earth, my down to earth. One more poem in me.
Take it.
And the name of this poem is called Monsters. And I wrote this poem after having a conversation with my daughter about the realities of the world. And it's called Monsters. Daddy, Daddy, the tooth fairy gave me $5, Daddy. Daddy, Daddy, can I take a picture with Santa Claus, Daddy? Daddy, Daddy, there's a monster in the dark, Daddy. Tell me more about Black history, Daddy. You see, I promised my baby girl that I would never tell her no lies, no disguises. Never will I pull the wool over her eyes, no surprises. Straight up, brutal, honest truth. Please be advised that life isn't always merry and not filled with cherry pies. So, at my parental discretion, I proceeded to answer her questions, giving her lessons were blessings that she needed and heeded way before her adolescence. So, baby girl, you will learn through your experiences and the emotions that you feel. Through life's myths and mysteriousness, there are things that will appear but are not real. For in America, they will feed you such edible words, fairy tales from here to heaven, all kinds of credible absurds that will turn such myths to legend. And if you're not meticulous, you'll be believing in such ridiculous things, like apes who can talk, and fish who can walk, and ponies that fly without wings. Ponies that fly without wings, Daddy? Seriously? So silly be that anomaly, baby, but Daddy's not trying to be funny. And since we're here, the tooth fairy is mommy, baby. We don't trade cash for teeth, honey. But due to this economy, baby, make sure you hold on to that money. And I'ma tell you this calmly, baby. There isn't an Easter bunny. If you would have seen the look on her face, the horror, the surprise. But I promised my baby girl that I would never tell her no lies. So with extreme trepidation, hesitation, and pause, I answered her question when she asked, what about Santa Claus? Baby, are we to believe in a white-bearded, big-bellied man named Santa, who traveled to 1 billion homes around the world in one night? I mean, could he even make it to Atlanta? We must be prepared to say this story is engineered. I mean, honey, have we ever seen a flying reindeer without wings, Daddy? Yes, baby, without wings. And after all that was said and done that night, I was quite confident she got the gist. But that night she screamed she saw monsters in the dark as if they were gorillas in the mist. I thought since we spoke of what was not real, she would have added monsters to the list. No need to be afraid of the dark, my love. Monsters don't exist. And she felt safe. And life goes on with more questions for her to ask and more lessons for her to learn, more concepts for her to grasp and more trust for me to earn. So we moved on from fairy tales, imaginative beings of mystery. Moved on to what was real, and in school they were talking about Black history. Excited was my flow, for at her age I didn't know that they taught this. So I told her about the 4 M's of Black history: Medgar, Malcolm, Martin, and Marcus. I continued on with Fannie Lou Hamer, Shirley Chisholm, and great old Harriet T. But she needed to know the greatness of Black women that she will future be. I went on with Maya Angelou, and let me tell you, she was fascinating. Then came the hard questions. Daddy, how come Medgar, Malcolm, and Martin was assassinated? She knows what assassinated means. There comes a time a child's mentality no longer thrives on being cute. They come face to face with an undoubted fallacy, for they cannot find the proof. The more fairy tales, false fantasies threaded within our youth. For there is a harsh reality that's embedded within the truth. You see, how do I tell my baby girl that sometimes there are more guns than roses? How do I tell her about evil forces with burning crosses and water hoses? I want to tell her about her ancestors that refused to kneel on stubborn knees. But how do I tell her of roots and strange fruit that fall from southern trees? It is the evil. It is the evil that menu that has me thinking like this. Cause now I have to tell my baby girl that yes, monsters do exist. How do I tell her? How do I tell her that they exist more than just in the corners of our minds, based on society's fears, and they vary within the times? How do I tell her that they exist, not in fairy tales, but in the realness of the night, within a socio-political construct that keeps separation angers light? They exist as an abomination through the echoes of eternity, through the smuggling of slaves, through a spot sticker Germany. They exist within places where racism stays systemic still, in the broken noses of Kevin to the broken bones of Emmett Till. They exist in present day. On a southern night you may see the most, under the sheets of the KKK. Some say they look like ghosts. Honey, forget about flying ponies, reindeers, or even unicorns. There could be a monster out that door with a badge, a gun, and a blue uniform. And those monsters exist in a world where conspicuous has to be me, where stop and frisk, we got sick of this like syphilis in Tuskegee. Those monsters, those creations, when at night you see their dark side, they reek of segregation, for they dwell in the bowels of apartheid. Our grandparents used to make us nervous as they warned us through urges. Don't go out late at night for the monster's head emerges. Stay inside, run and hide for your life you cannot purchase. This is a place where brothers die when white women clutch their purses. I am a lion, and in the land of the evil they conduct illegal searches. No telling where, no telling how the monster will resurface. How do I tell my underage daughter beware where the monster surges? Don't wear a hoodie in Sanford, Florida, or dwell in South Carolina churches. Don't drive a car in Wheeler County, Texas, for what they do to black women you wouldn't believe. And if you see a monster in Staten Island or Minnesota, you might not be able to breathe. How? How do I tell her all of this in a land that's supposed to be more stable, where monsters are supposed to be trapped within fairy tales and fables, ambitiously fictitious like Anne of Green Gables, not spoken of in newspapers or into their tables? How? How do we tell our sons and daughters? It must take some kind of art. How do we explain the insane without tearing their world apart? Well, I looked my daughter straight in the eyes, and I told her straight from the heart, yes, my love, monsters do exist, but they're the ones afraid of the dark.
That is Kraal, Kayo, Charles. Standing ovation. How's everybody doing? Y'all hanging? Y'all still with me? All right. Listen, let me tell you where we are. We are going to bring up our 2 amazing Generation Verb back to the stage. And then I'm going to close us on out. All right, so please, I need you to keep the same energy. Keep the same energy. Keep the same energy as we bring you back to the stage. Miss Mona, Alhadaaee.
I've always wondered what the world would be like without religion. Would the French War of Religion happen? Would 8 million people die in the War of 1618? Would ISIS have existed in 1999? And then we build our countries based on religion and fair secularism and teach our kids how our religion is better than any religion. Why? Can't we see the deaths? Can't we see how 1,000 people scream and say, enough? Are we that deaf to hear them beg and scream and say, stop? Are we that blind to see their tears and ignore it until it disappears? How can you go back home smiling, eating, and playing with your kids, not thinking of how others are screaming scared, without a home, without a mother, without a father, eating dirt to survive? And all we do is act racist to each other and killing people for their skin color, being greedy and not believing in climate change and swearing to build walls and taking lives and destroying habitats and taking women's freedom of speech and taking people. Being greedy and not believing in climate change and swearing to build walls and taking lives and destroying habitats and taking people's freedom of speech and taking women as sex objects, telling them what's right and what's wrong, telling them that they're weak and not strong, telling them what to do with their body. Oh, insanity. What is it now? What is it? Natural selection? Is that how the world is gonna be? Or how it always has been? You don't know what it feels like running to the living room so the gunshot doesn't go through the window and hit you. Or seeing your mom collapse because she thinks you're dead. Or watching kids scream with no hope. Or watching people scream with no hope, looking at a body half dead. Or seeing kids losing arms and legs. Or getting taken to be a child soldier. What is it now? What is it? That every kid should have access to education, that every kid should have a precious smile, that every kid should have a family. But all they have is pain, fear, depression, and wrong inspiration, and I swear, and wrong inspiration, and I swear everyone is walking the tree of tears. What would I to a girl with no arm to comfort her, a boy with no family to make him live happily, and a whole nation with no future to live reality? Face the floor, scared to look up, so I ignore. What can I restore? Even the birds left and won't come back anymore. And it doesn't seem like anyone can hear them and me, making me wonder if God is listening to me. But still, when I was 13, I did not believe that life isn't fair. And now I'm 19 and I've seen kids hungry, and that proves to me that life isn't fair. It's the last thing I'll say. If you go home today without doing anything for people who are dying because of religion, wars, you are foolish.
Amazing. Thank you again. Thank you so much again for Miss Mona Alhadaaee. And now we will have again bringing back to the stage for another poem. Please, Mr. Gabriel Gutierrez.
personal. It's about me and my mom. Mom, if you're watching this, hi. Wrote this before Midnight actually helped me with this back when I was in high school. It's called Me, My Mom, and the Devil. I've been immortalized, viewed as an angel in my mother's eyes, but she chooses to believe there's no devil inside. A Catholic described and prayed to as a saint, an icon. Painted over with bloody paint, died with the devil mocking him in his sleep. I am that boy who tried to run from my past. That Puerto Rican that's typically dressed in white, not dripped in bloody paint, dropped from God, cannot be a saint. Disappointed in the Lord's face, emotions have been played. I'm tired of running, I'm tired of hiding. I've been through hell and stomped on the devil's face, forced him to erase my sins, but you can still see the lines of what I did to this day. Yes, I lied to my mother. When she was saving our money, I stole a couple dollars from my mother. I talked back and I cursed my father. I told lies like that boy who cried wolf, but I'm only crying pain. And pain. People expect better from me. God himself expects me to lead people to good fortunes while the devil whispers in my ear and says, you go by my choices. Stop crying and be the man that I told you. Bad decisions after another, I try to become this perfect icon so that people can think of me, remember what I try to do for this world. But my old demons find my insecurities that I try to sweep under that rug and they choose to step on. I tried to speak up, but I get shut down. There's been times where I've disappointed my mother and I've let her down. She chooses to believe there's no devil inside, but every time I walk near church, I burst down and cry. My devil horns and halo resemble a broken cello that looks perfect but sounds crooked. I've had my flaws and yes, I admit it. Everything has always been one-sided. I'm the mirror and you're the reflection. Too deeply scarred to see your complexion. The devil has entered my mind. I'm another fallen angel that's falling and falling and falling and falling. Continues to fall down the endless pit of depression. My mind and soul join the laughter of the devil. I'm lifeless. But continues to move, a dead man walking, a dead man breathing poison, a dead boy struggling to see his mother smile, the smile which he hasn't seen in a while. The devil keeps happiness and love trapped in the jaw. I've been stripped of my joy, stripped of my sight. I can't see past the naked eye. My mother screams in pain. She's seen her son's lifeless body on the floor because I didn't lock that door. I let the devil enter my mind again, enter my life again, which was a mistake. Blood everywhere. She's entered a slaughterhouse. Pain, because I've let her down. Fear is what she feels now. Joy is the devil toys with feelings. My life is broken, shattered, whatever you want to call it. Why does my father follow me wherever I go? Why is father the one demon that won't let go? Why was father the king of the underworld? Why does he keep happiness trapped in a jar? Why do my devil horns resemble his horns? Why was father a fallen angel? Why did he hide his true name, Lucifer? Mama, why did you dance with the devil?
Amazing. Please give it up for Gabriel Gutierrez. All right, apparently I said something. I didn't mean what I said, but now I'm gonna go ahead and accommodate. So if y'all would just get a host some, get a drummer some. It is not enough to remain passive, to sit quietly in the midst and await change, to walk lightly and whisper in loud spaces when one can only see your lips move. We must be heard. It is not enough to remain passive, to lie in the complacency of your own ignorance because it stinks when you open your eyes. The ashen cinder burns here because it's real. We must be seen. It is not enough to remain passive, to hear but not listen, to observe but not see, to touch but not feel, to spread your own arms open wide but only across your own chest while your neighbor suffers from neglect. We must be loved. It is not enough to remain passive, to accept what's told to you just because it was told to you, to ignore the cries of your own heart due to the deceit of the enemy's tongue, to give up on logic because of a convincing presentation. We must be smart. Because the time has passed when we didn't know any better, but the truth was hitting to us simply out of spite, out of vicious lies that were told to exemplify themselves while oppressing our future when we had no other options then. When his story was recited to us from foreign lips, foreign smells, foreign hair, foreign skin, then made our burden so familiar to us, from familiar whips, familiar chains, familiar work from dark till dark, questions beaten out of us until we accepted and perpetuated his story until it became fact. We had no other options then. Neglected to inform us of the revolution of Nat Turner, failed to educate us on the true intentions and purposes of the Emancipation Proclamation, concealed our story of the Black Panther Party and Marcus Garvey, then separated us with false identities of European aspirations. We had no other options then. How crafty that Willie. Lynched us for 400 years, and now 200 years later, I beg you not to be so passive, because the time has passed when we didn't know better. Yeah, I'm hip to the game. Deceivers have us under the impression that they control our success, but we show their fear through their hatred, while we show our strength through our resilience, through our umoja, kujichagulia, ujima, ujama, nia, kumba, umani. We must never be oppressed with this in our hearts, with this in our spirits, with this in our song. So I beg you to sing, I beg you to yell, I beg you to educate, I beg you to educate, I beg you to uplift, I beg you to take this to the streets. I said take this to the streets because we will not be televised. There will be no Snapchat. This will not be on any filter. Your Facebook rants do nothing for the revolution. Your Instagram posts don't do nothing for the revolution. Who's going to explain this? When you're standing face to face with Harriet, who's going to explain this? When Frederick is asking you what's been done, when Hugh is asking you what progress has been made, which one of you is going to explain this? Because Malcolm ain't gonna want to see your DMs, Sojourner ain't gonna want to see no selfies while our children are being murdered in the streets consistently, systematically. Come on, G. There is no time for passivity. There is no time to be passive. It is not enough to be passive. We must be heard. We must be seen. We must be smart. Say ashe if you're with me. Ashe. You all have been an amazing audience. Keep clapping for yourselves. Keep clapping for yourselves. This has been a fantastic show. I want to thank you so much, so much, so much, so much, so much. I got so many thank yous. I got it on my cue card. Here we go, here we go. I want to thank Kraal, Kayo, Charles for his amazing performance. I want to thank Akil. I want to thank Nioka. I want to thank Mana. I want to thank Gabriel Gutierrez. We want to make sure that we give a special thank you for Generation Verb, to Brother Paul McIntosh, to Marcus Garvey, Park Alliance, Kraal Charles Media, goodness gracious, a special thank you to the New Yorkers Poets Cafe, a special thank you for the Lower Manhattan Cultural Council, and we also want to give a special thank you to Midnight who's been taking care of our music. Thank you for this audience. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day.
You are my shining star, I got it like my love it. Not a minute, hour, day or nothing, I don't love you. You're at the top of my list, cause I'm always thinking of you. Remember in the days when I was scared to touch you. I spent my day dreaming, planning how to say I love you. You must have known that all I feel is deep and this swimming. It's when you opened up your heart, you told me that darling, all my love. Thousand kisses from you is never too much, baby. I just don't wanna stop. Oh, days in your arms is never too much. I just don't wanna stop.
It's crazy.
I'm sorry.
Can we move those mics over?
Can we move the mics and the stand? Yeah. Move the mics and the stand. Can I fix this?
Yeah, please fix it.
Can I fix this?
Please.
Sir, on this side of Kayo, thank you.